Alright guys, welcome back to another video. So we have got the car back as you've seen in the last video, and we're heading out tonight to a big mega meet. There's Agusha and Night Owls and a ton of other car clubs are all getting together for a massive meet tonight. So it's going to be down at Castle Plaza. The theme is for Halloween. It's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be the car's first little outing once it's now that it's all painted. We've got a fair few things we need to do. Let's go over a couple of them now and see if we can get them done before tonight. So first up and most importantly is this Rio bar looks absolutely terrible. So I'm going to go and I've got to go out and get a couple of things anyway. I'm going to get some black spray paint and spray it into a nice little cup with a little paintbrush, mask up the edge of the bumper here and give that a little paint with the paintbrush in a satin black or like a matte black, so it just blends into the background and you can't really see it. And then the other thing I've got is some mesh, which I'm just flattening out on the ground here at the moment. That should go in there, or I've got a different size mesh. I'm not sure if you can see that. But this mesh here is, if it focuses, a little bit smaller. So I've got the big mesh and I got the little mesh. Not sure exactly which one I'm going to use yet. We'll see what they look like on there. I think the big mesh is going to be the go. For now, I reckon that should look all right. So the other thing we've got to put on, if we can, is the new weather strips. We've got some new black weather strips for the doors, which should cover up most of those imperfections. These weather strips we got from HIC Australia. Slimline weather strips. They're like, I think they're actually a little bit see-through, but they're black. Majority of it is black, and they're going to cover, sorry for the neighbor's dog barking in the background. The weather strips will come up and cover all the doors all the way up to here and should cover up a lot of those imperfections. I've tried to get as much sticky stuff off as I can. We do have some of this, which I'm going to spread across there in a minute. That should be that. I did notice there was a little bit of a knocking in the back end. So the rear bumper Rio, which sits behind the bumper here. On the other side, I reckon it's just putting all the car back together. They might have forgot to put 2 bolts in the other side. So it's just sort of knocking around a little bit. So we'll chuck another bolt in there, easy to get to in the boot. We're going to give the car a nice spray and wipe over with some Boss Gloss from Bowden's as well. See if we can make it look all nice and pretty. What else have we got? The other thing is, if we have time, I'm going to try and get these covered up. I got some fresh carbon here, carbon wrap. It's just cheap carbon wrap, but I think even on this side, it's just a little bit tacky. So it should come off pretty easily. I think it looks like it does, yeah. Should be able to get that off. Once we do that, we'll give the rims a wipe over, give the whole car a spray and a wipe down. No, I'm not going to have time, I don't think, to do anything to the engine bay, unfortunately. That is an absolute disaster. It's going to need a bit of love. It's obviously got all the sanding and fiberglass and paints overspray and everything in there. So it just needs a wipe down. It's nothing permanent. Just needs a good clean. Probably not that keen on that filter sucking that in. So I think if we can get most of those done, the only thing we've got to deal with then is getting this damn car out of our driveway. So you would have seen in the last video, when we first got the car home, trying to get the car up the driveway, we've got a ton of wood down here and up there. I think I've got a bit of a plan for a longer bit of wood to get the car out the driveway a little bit easier, but we'll see how we go. We're going to try and get it out a little bit earlier before we need to leave, so that if it takes longer, it doesn't matter too much. All right, let's get stuck into this stuff and see if we can get this car out to a cruise tonight on its first cruise since it's been painted. We've given that a bit of a wipe down. Hopefully this sticks to it. It's only a temporary. I'm trying to do it quickly. I'm probably only going to do this one just so it's not all black. Chop that off maybe about here.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I'm tripper sometimes. I need to pay more attention. If you're watching this and it's painful, I would be watching this and thinking it's painful too. Get this down here. There we go. Third time's a charm. All right, so what we want is probably a card. We'll go get a card so we can smooth that out. Give that a nice flatten all the way down to the edges without covering anything up, without cutting all the way through. Doesn't need to be perfect, I just wanted it to match the other doors for tonight. We can get some better quality wrap. This is just what we had laying around. It does cut really easily and you don't need to sort of push all the way through. That looks better, doesn't it? Even though it's, it's the opposite. Bro, I put it the opposite way. They're two different types of carbon. All right, I'm not gonna be too picky about that. Just making it look better for tonight's cruise. One job done. All right, let's have a look at these window shields, the little weather shields. I think these were about 150 bucks. No, maybe 100 bucks. I reckon they were only about $100. They weren't too bad. They were just really hard to get a hold of. So everyone was always sold out and no one had any stock of these. And I was on waiting lists and all sorts of stuff. And we finally got someone to let us know when they got them back in stock, which was nice of them. They're really good to deal with too. They express posted them out to us and everything for the advertised price. So HIC is the brand. Got a business card in there as well. They're in Cooper Plains, Queensland. HIC Australia, HIC Weather Shields. So it looks like a pretty complex little kit, which is sort of what I was dreading. I was hoping it was going to be easy and simple to do, but let's pop them out and have a look. So we got front window visors, R34 4-door, 99 to 2002, made in Taiwan. They actually have this nice little, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but we've got a nice little HIC badge at the top. Let me cut it open. Can you see that? I'm not sure if that's going to focus. That looks really clean. All right, so that looks like the other side, and this one. So these go something like that. So they start from where the mirror, side mirror is, and they work their way up. That should be cool. We'll go through the instructions and see what they say in there. I reckon it's going to say clean it really well. I've given it a wipe over with some goo remover already. Dude, that looks clean. That looks so good. Looks so good. Let's get these other ones out. Instructions over here. Some cleaner. Monkey Warehouse. That's the name of the business I got them from. And HIC is obviously the brand that makes them. We've got some little cleaner pads, alcohol prep pads. We've got some primer adhesion promoter and a ton of instructions. Screenshot that if you want to have a look at what you need to do. Let's go ahead and start getting these installed, and then they've got some time to set before we go to the cruise, and I can get some other stuff sorted in the meantime. All right, quick change of plans, because the strips, the weather strips that we want to put on, they actually stick onto this top bit, but they also come down onto the carbon door seals here, and I want to change that. I'm not going to have time to change that before tonight's cruise, not on the other doors. I've done the driver's door obviously, but I'm not going to have time to do all the other doors today. I want to do them properly. I want to do them once and take a bit more care and time on it than I did on that driver's door one. So I can't put the weather strips on today, which sucks. I really did want to put them on, but next thing on the list real quick is going to be this front, the front Rio here. I'm going to mask that up and give it a little paint. I'm going to spray some spray paint into a little cup and paintbrush it on so I don't get overspray over everything. It is something that I want to fade into the background and you not notice. So black will definitely do. I think I've only got gloss black here at the moment. from what I can see. So we'll go with gloss black, and if I need to go over it later with like a flat black so you can't even see it even better, if that makes any sense, we'll get stuck into that. We'll mask it off and get ready to paint that now. The weather's not looking too crash hot at the moment, unfortunately. It's starting to rain, which I really was hoping it was going to hold off for the cruise, but just lay this tape as much as I can to protect everything, so we don't get any paint or some lightning in the background. It's pretty crazy. Tear that off. We'll just wrap that around the bar, and that should protect it nicely. All right, I reckon it's enough protection. We'll give that a bit of a wipe down, and then we'll get some paint on there if we don't get struck by lightning in the meantime. We just had the craziest downpour ever. It was like insane lightning and thunder and so much rain. I reckon we just had 20 mils of rain in the last like half an hour. It was insane. All right, back to this. I've just been to Bunnings as well. Bunnings power was out. They had about 5 minutes left of the backup generator power before I had to get my stuff and leave. So we got some of that. We got some of this stuff. I'll show you now what I'm going to do. So I've got some of this, which is the quick dry satin black. Should fade into the background quite nicely. I'm going to spray this into a bowl away from the car out the back, and then just going to use a paintbrush to paint that onto that Rio bar. So I'm going to stick with doing this coat, and then I reckon we might be able to do a nice top coat over the top, and I reckon it'll sit a bit nicer. It's just not worth risking spraying the bar with the bar on. So if you go thick, the coverage looks a lot better. It also probably has a lot to do with the crappy brush I'm using. I think it sort of self-levels a bit as well. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry, and if we need to touch it up after, we can touch it up. One thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna go over as much of this as I can, try and get some of this dust off, because it's really not ideal having it near the filter. Clean everything up just as good as I can for now. It doesn't need to be perfect, but all right, so that's all painted black. It's as good as it's going to be now. I really wanted to take more time doing all this stuff before we went to our first cruise, but we're sort of on like a time limit and we've got to leave soon, and I still got to focus on trying to get the car out the driveway. But have a look at this. I've got the back painted black. So I've got the mesh in just to test it out at the moment. You can see that that Rio bar back here has definitely faded into the background. You can't really notice it too much, which is cool. It actually doesn't look too bad with the bonnet down. I've just checked. What I'm going to do is I just want this mesh in for the cruise now. And again, it's something I'm going to do a little bit better and figure out if we go the big mesh or we go more little mesh like this. But I'm just going to fold a lip along the top and see what it looks like and see if that gives it a bit more strength. Let's see if we can sneak one more little thing. We've got this little Nismo badge. I got a black one and a white one. The white one doesn't look too bad. I think it probably stands out a little bit too much, and I wanted it to fade in the background, but I think that black one will be nice and neat and sort of fade into the background and not notice it too much. Let's see if I can slip that on. It's got some threads. These were like a couple of dollars off eBay. Nothing special, nothing legitimate. Just a finishing little touch that I thought made it look a little bit nicer. And then they just poke through. I mean, we could just poke a little bit of a hole, but it's going to be touch and go whether we get them in the right spot or not. See what we can do. All right, that was a bit of a mission. We managed to get the car out the driveway with like a ton of wood. We've got all the wood down on the ground here. I didn't get to film it because we're in such a rush. We're almost going to be late for the cruise, but we got the whole family ready in the car. We got the car out on the road. I've given it a wipe down. Let's head out to this big cruise.
Still go, even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
All right, we've made it down to the cruise, and there's a fair few people here. which is good to see. It's been pretty wet on the way here. So we did a pre-meet and then we've come down to Castle Plaza. Let's go for a bit of a walk around, have a look, see what we see.
Doing shit my way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 you got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in